It's no secret that Joe Biden had his worst ever performance in the presidential debate last week. But what's more worrying is what has happened since then. It's as if Joe Biden is racing against himself in a contest of who's declining faster. His blunders are getting more severe and frequent, and the media can no longer cover them up. But despite everything, Joe Biden and his family remain steadfast, like the main characters in an endless soap opera. Biden currently looks like a living zombie. His mental lapses are happening daily, and his body looks like a walking corpse. Those close to him have started showing visible concern. According to Sky News All-Star Peter Stepanovich, sources close to Joe Biden say his blunders are becoming more frequent. An anonymous source revealed that Biden would take afternoon naps and wouldn't start preparing for the debate with Donald Trump until 11 a.m. Others insist that President Biden remains sharp and focused. Author K.L. Bernstein agrees, stating on CNN that sources close to the president have been worried about his cognitive decline for over a year. These individuals, many of whom are very close to President Biden, love him, have supported him, and some have even raised a lot of money for him. They are adamant that what we saw that night wasn't a one-off. There have been about 15 to 20 instances over the past year and a half where the president has appeared as a lesser version of himself. In his first public appearance since the disastrous debate, Joe Biden did nothing to alleviate fears that he's essentially a walking corpse. During his press conference about the Supreme Court's ruling, he shuffled to the podium, gave a short speech, then turned his back on the audience and refused to take questions. Sky News host Andrew Bolt and former White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer couldn't help but comment on this. So here's the thing, Sean. Joe Biden, after that Thursday press conference, desperately needed to prove he could string a few sentences together without reading from a teleprompter. This is a big issue. Supreme Court ruling. Threat to democracy. You'd think he'd take a few questions afterward, but no. They didn't trust him to do even that. He just shuffled away, not taking questions and not confident enough to be unscripted. What do you make of all that? Well, a few things. Firstly, he needed to give the media something new to talk about to change the narrative. And like clockwork, tonight, the second he left the podium, they all said, "Oh, that's the Biden we know. He's back." He just needed to give them a new talking point. They were desperate. The New York Times and CNN needed something to say to pivot away from that disastrous performance last Thursday. Sky News All-Star Mick M. Vaughn agrees, saying he expected Joe Biden to take questions to prove himself. That wasn't at all what I expected, honestly. And I don't know what Annalise heard before the speech began, but I thought he would take questions afterward. This wasn't just to try to change the narrative on substance away from the debate and onto the Supreme Court decision, but also to allay some concerns about his debate performance, to show he could stand and take questions for half an hour or so. To turn around and walk into the Oval Office like he did makes me wonder, have they given up? Are they trying to save his place at the top of the ticket, or are they now just fighting a Democrat versus Republican battle, regardless of who the Democrat is? It's a very stunning turn of events in just the last 10 minutes, as far as I'm concerned. And with the Biden camp in desperation mode, they took the bizarre step of seemingly fake tanning the president before his appearance to make him look more alive, according to Sky News All-Star Dina Diorio. Christie, I must say, the president looked quite tanned compared to his corpse-like appearance on Friday. Now, suddenly, he looks like he's been spray-tanned at a beauty salon to prop himself up a bit. But look, what do you think this decision will mean for the US election? Yes, he certainly had a glow-up out there in Hampton. Maybe Hollywood has come to him again, Jay and Caleb, and taught him their tricks. Another thing I noticed about that press conference, you can see it was done in the White House. Did you hear the echo on those microphones? They turned the volume up to full so people could hear him, because it was evident on Friday that he mumbles. The sentences aren't clearly enunciated, and people couldn't hear what he was saying even if they wanted to. And it turns out, even if they did, it didn't matter. So there are many tricks seeping in here, not just the glow-up, but also the microphone volume. Sky News All-Star Paul Murray agreed, mocking the change in the president's makeup. One of the reasons the family thinks it all went wrong is because, and I quote, CNN and their makeup staff made him look too pale. This was 3 different people who said the family believes the reason he had a terrible debate performance, the word I was looking for, just in case, was because, according to the footage, he wasn't sick and old, not doddery and losing it. He just had makeup that made him look too pale. Do we have that footage? Roll it for us if we can, where he apparently looked too pale during the debate. Well, I noticed something today in Biden's response to the Iran court case. Presidential power. See if you notice a slight difference. Perhaps a new makeup artist for the President of the United States, because he looked kind of orange today. Did you notice? He went from white to orange. Is he trying to trick American voters that he's Donald Trump? That this isn't a battle of 2 old guys, but a battle of 2 orange guys. And you should vote for that orange guy, not this orange guy. In another strange display of dependency, Joe Biden was escorted down the steps of Air Force One by his wife, Jill Biden. This happened after she had to take his hand and slowly help him down the very small steps at the CNN studio following the debate. Joe Biden's age, of course, was already a talking point before the debate. It was amplified, not just in a cognitive sense. There was a lot of discussion online about footage of First Lady Jill Biden helping her 81-year-old husband off the stage. You can see the small steps there, but he clearly needed assistance to descend those steps to greet the 2 CNN moderators afterward. I'm sure those images will be played as well. The bizarre behavior continues. Just today, the president was seen caressing a voter's arm. And after that, he had another brain malfunction during a speech about extreme heat. So folks know these resources are available to them and anyone who needs them. You've got, I tell you, telling the group who briefed me earlier, my brother has a saying, you've got to know how to know. And even after all this strange behavior and calls for him to step down, Joe Biden remains defiant. Make no mistake, Joe and Jill aren't going anywhere. And despite the fact that Joe should go, Joe's family, because it's a family business, will desperately try to keep him propped up. It's no secret that Jill Biden is the brains behind the operation to keep Biden in the race. But surprisingly, it is now said that convicted felon Hunter Biden has been sitting in on meetings with his father. Sources familiar with the situation at the White House say Hunter Biden has been by his father's side since they were at Camp David this weekend, where the family had discussions about the president's potential path forward and his re-election campaign. Since returning from Camp David last night with his father, we understand Hunter Biden has even joined some meetings and conversations between the president and some of his senior advisors and senior staff. While we should note that it's not unusual for Hunter Biden to be at the White House, be in the residence, and attend certain White House events.